What's poppin', everybody? This is Saber Fighter 4. We're gonna be looking at another new deck profile in the standard format. Finally, gonna be trying out Palkia VSTAR in the standard format right here. So this card is not the same card as it was when it first came out. It's still quite strong in terms of its stats and the quick attack, doing a lot of damage for just 2 energy. And Star Portal, of course, still a very strong VSTAR power. The problem is that lightning weakness. Lightning Pokemon are very popular nowadays thanks to Miraidon EX, letting you grab a bunch of Pokemon easily. And then you can get that set up. You know, Raikou, very popular, Regieleki VMAX, Miraidon, that sort of a deck. I see people using that deck with Zapdos too now. So a bunch of different lightning decks you can use. I mean, Fluffy, you can get those easily out. And because this guy is weak to lightning, it pretty much is almost like an auto loss. So because of this shift in the meta decks, you know, it's not quite the same deck as it used to be. But because I'm always a rebel and because I've only managed to get these cards, you know, recently, thanks to TCG Live, I will admit it's easier to get certain cards. I mean, they pretty much give you a bunch of free cards, I think, in the beginning. And I was missing a few cards, and I think Live gave them to me, or I pulled them. Anyway, the point is, I have the cards to use the deck. But I'm going to use it a little bit differently than everyone else, as I always do. But before I get to the special techs, this is going to be a straight up 4-4 Palkia VSTAR deck in terms of our main attack we want to utilize. Subspace, well, if both players have a full bench, this attack is going to do like 260 for 2, I believe. It maxes out at that regard. It's very, very high damage, incredibly so. And even if you don't hit for 260, if you can just do like 240, 220 for 2 energy is still pretty good. This is a very easy Pokemon to power up. I mean, just very self-sufficient. Just 2 energies to attack. Star Portal helps you out a lot. Between the manual attachments and Melanie turn after turn, you don't really have a problem of getting this guy ready to attack. It's just really good. Nothing else really to complain about. Stats, attack, power, perfect package. It was a reason it was so dominant. Now, gotta run the regular form as well, the Palkia V. I guess it's origin form, but to me it's just Palkia, pretty much. Don't like the stuff some of the new stuff they do, but anyway. This card isn't so good in terms that it can't really do much if you don't evolve. Hydro Break, I guess you can power that up too, slowly with Melanie, but we don't really want to put 3 and then use this attack. And the thing is that with Palkia VSTAR and Palkia V, I mean, to straight up just instantly power the guy up when you don't have any energies, you do need to VSTAR. So this guy on his own, he can't really help himself. And then the Rule of the Region attack, in the beginning, we can use this to grab a stadium. Very specific search. I only have 2 stadiums in the deck, but I guess it's something to do if you can't really do anything else. But run 4 to get the VSTAR out, of course, is why we have him. But I mean, if you have to do like 200 for 3, it's usable, it's not useless by all means. It doesn't really have any bad cost, just you can't attack next turn. That's fine, we can work with that. Anyway. And that's all I really got in terms of attackers. I guess you could say the Greninja here can attack, be a sniper. We obviously have this because it's a discard outlet. Discard those water energies, draw cards, gives us very good consistency and combos with Palkia, of course. So gotta have it. This is something we can power up with Palkia. Palkia's VSTAR power, and then you can do like the Moonlight Shuriken, do a double snipe. Sometimes it comes up. Never know, depending on what your opponent has. So why not? Regular Pokemon have it. And then the rest of the cards, I mean, it really is just straight support. I guess I'm gonna go into the cards that you guys are probably looking at, thinking, what the hell? Yes, I am running this Barbaracle. So this card came in Lost Origin, and immediately when I reviewed it in the Japanese sets, I was very impressed by it. It has a very strong effect. Lost Block, essentially, depending on when you get this card out, it's going to deny your opponent prizes. So if you get it out, let's say, before they took out any prizes, or let's say they got 1 prize and then you take it out, you deny multiple cards from your opponent's deck throughout the game, basically. I mean, as long as this card is out, your opponent puts any prize cards they would take on the lost zone instead of getting it in the hand. So that's basically all it does. And it just seems like it's not that cool at first, but from my experience with Duel Masters, another similar card, this is a bigger deal than people make it out to be. I mean, it hasn't really seen play in many decks because on its own, you know, it's a stage 1, you're going to need a little bit of space, and you probably have to combo it with other cards. But in the case with Palkia VSTAR, because we're a very self-sufficient deck, we got the space, instead of running any other miscellaneous cards, I decided to just mix this card in with Palkia. And you deny your opponent prizes. Anything they have in the prizes, it's almost like they don't have it throughout the entire game. So 60 card deck, more like a 55 card deck sort of thing. And that's pretty good. I mean, if they got like boss's orders in their prizes or key cards that they're hoping to get as they're killing you guys and trying to see them, they just lose their cards and there's no way around it. I mean, they pick them just so that they go in the lost zone. So it's really nice. I like it. So we got a 3-2 line of this guy. He's not really going to attack. His attack is useless. Stats are useless too. I guess 130 HP for a stage 1. There's worse, but it's low. That's the point. I mean, if they decide to pick on it, it dies in one shot. That's the point. But I mean, I just have this. It gives us a little bit of disruption. Just give your opponent a little bit of more hell. I got a few other disruption cards you guys are going to see in the trainers. So that's this guy. And then 3 of the Binacle to get this dude out. Double retreat is really bad, but there's not much I can do about it. I think this is the only one we got around. I don't think there's anything else. Maybe I should double check, but I'm pretty sure this is the only one. I mean, it's not like this guy gets cards every day. Kind of a forgotten Pokemon. But I mean, Barnacles are disgusting. So just a 3-2, just have enough basics to see this guy, search this guy out. If we open with him, we can use him as a decoy too, as you search other ones on the bench. So it's fine. Getting that extra 1-3 is nice. I usually do want to have at least 10 basics in my deck. So that's this line. That's pretty much it. And then the other guys are in here for support. You know, the Luminion V, obviously get you supporter cards. We don't have anything else that's similar. Crobat V. If Crobat V was around, I'd probably use that. But this is pretty good as well, of course. And it's a water Pokemon. It's something else that you can maybe power up with Palkia if you're desperate and use this. Maybe. Never know. It is going to be compatible, though, with Melanie too. So if we're that desperate, I mean, if you're that desperate, you're going to lose. But we can attack since it's a water Pokemon. We use water energies here. And then Manaphy, just bench protection. Just have this as well. Never know. Could be handy. So these are the Pokemon. It's a very simplistic line. It's all going to be down to our consistency and just trying to set up Palkia quickly enough. So trainer cards. I got a lot of balls. I got the 4 Nest Balls. Get our basic Pokemon down really quickly. Ultra Balls. Get our evolution Pokemon quickly. We don't really have Incense. It would have been good if I had Incense in this deck, because the costs do hurt with Ultra Ball in this deck. Obviously, it's a discard outlet for water energies, but the costs are gonna hurt because we try and favor this E-Reader card. Now, this is a very good supporter card in this sort of a deck. You know, it's that old school sort of, I guess, Rosane's Research. I guess Corina from Furious Fist was a similar card where you just get a couple of pieces. You don't really get that mass draw other supporters give you, but you get exactly what you want. I mean, you get to pick on specific things. It's good, but you don't dig through your deck. So sometimes, I don't really know how to explain it. You're not going to dig through your deck as quickly enough, and then in a way, when you are going to be digging for something later on, when you're trying to use Oak or just other shuffle draw supporter cards, you might not see what you want then. But I mean, it's really good. It's a method for us to get water Pokemon in the early game and then get evolution Pokemon too. An easy way to get Palkia VSTAR and then get any item card. Obviously, that's great. Round 3, 4 is probably too much. You probably want to see this in the beginning, and then mid to late game, if you got everything you need and then you just need to see like a Palkia VSTAR or something, then this is your guaranteed way to get your shit. Really good. We do have some items, obviously, you get. I mean, use this. Basically, you get a water Pokemon, you get Nest Balls, like you get 2 water Pokemon in the early game. So that's good. But I mean, yeah, it's not like I can use this to get like a rare candy or anything. But gotta have it. I mean, staple in the way for this deck. Jumped into the supporters here, but I mean, I mentioned this because it's with Ultra Ball. The thing is, with Ultra Ball, it's a discard outlet. Gonna get those water energies in the discard pile, but it does kind of hurt. The double discard is big. Anyway, got the 4 trekking shoes. I guess you could look at them as training shoes, but I mean, discard outlet, draw card, boost up the speed of the deck. Hopefully we lucky enough we can ditch water energies when we play this and get some different stuff. It's a little bit more of a risky card in this deck. Sometimes you're gonna have to discard some valuable things, but gotta have it the way I see it in this deck. I mean, there's another form of discard outlet and speedy card at the end of the day. Then I got the double energy search. This is something pretty good actually we can get with Irida. I forgot to mention this because it just means that Irida acts as an energy searching card. When I have this and I don't have energy, I can just do this. This is why it's important to have the energy search in this deck. Would have been better if this was Professor's Letter, but what can you do? I mean, we don't even have Capacious Bucket. That's too bad. Couldn't really utilize this deck when those cards were around. It's just unfortunate. I mean, this deck isn't the same deck as it used to be, but I did pretty okay with it. As long as you don't play against Lightning, then you might be okay. Yeah, you guys are going to see in the matches. Energy Search, get those water energies. We want to discard them, we want to attach them. Don't want to miss your mana attachment, so that's pretty good. Then I got a few Crushing Hammers actually, got 3 of them here. So this deck, it does have the extra space and it does need help. I mean, a little bit of disruption is going to help. So instead of just throwing in some useless cards, Crushing Hammer, if you get the heads, it's really broken always. So I have a few of these. I mean, it's just a very self-sufficient deck, Palkia VSTAR. I said this a bunch of times already. Hopefully I'm not being annoying, but we just need that guy to attack. We don't really need backup attackers. I guess you can have them maybe, use them with some different Pokemon. But the idea is you use this guy very self-sufficient and then everything else centered around him is for additional help. So this annoying our opponent, Barbaracle annoying our opponent, maybe it's enough to give us victory. Okay, so that's the Crushing Hammers. Then I got one switch. Probably, to be honest, I would want to have more than one of these because I find myself a lot of the times something could get stuck and then you only have one switch in the deck. I mean, sometimes you are going to open up with a Pokemon you don't want to open with, your opponent isn't doing much, and then you want to start attacking, get the lead, and then you got to search this and use this, and then later on, maybe if you need another switch, you don't have it. You don't have anything. Manually retreating is not too bad with Palkia. I mean, we have the capacity to power up our guys. We're not going to run out of energy attachments. It's just that if something like Binacle gets stuck, this guy gets stuck, that's really the problem where it comes in. That's the annoying part. I mean, if Palkia comes in, you know, attack with it, then retreat. If we have another attack already, it's fine. It's not the same thing anyway. But that's the switch. Maybe if you want to include 2, but I mean, I don't really know what I would drop. I guess I could drop like another Crushing Hammer, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not even running 4. I would want to have 4 of this, to be honest, just to maximize the chance for we get that energy discard. Anyway, I'm going to show you guys matches with the deck that I show you guys anyway. I rarely make changes afterwards, and if I do so, I always mention them. Anyway, I use the deck like this. I'm going to show the deck how it is. Okay, we got the level wall too. Can't forget about that. This is a card that's going to let me get the Binacle without having to burn like a nest ball. Just have enough search cards. So I have this too. Got a few targets. And that's the item cards. Supporter cards, I've already talked about Irida, kind of a staple here. Got the Melanie as well, 4 of her. Get that water energy acceleration and straight draw 3. Pretty good. Once again though, that straight draw, you combine it with Irida, you don't really draw a lot of cards turn after turn. It's straight draw. And this card is going to be dead if you don't have energies in the discard pile. Sometimes it's going to conflict with Palkia VSTAR. You know, you want to use his power and then you got no energies to use. Or if you use this, then you can't use that guy's power. It's sometimes they conflict. I don't know, but maybe it's a good idea to drop 1, put a different supporter in. I don't really know, to be honest. It just makes sense to just max it out in this sort of a deck. But sometimes it did contribute to me bricking. You know, you see this as the only supporter in the beginning and then you can't really do shit if you can't discard water energies. And then you see this, it can suck. But anyway, we max her out, and then I got the double Professor Research. We don't mind discarding a few things in this deck, obviously. We got a lot of Palkia VSTARs, but maybe you want to use all of them. Just use one, and when it gets hurt, you switch. You deny your opponent of getting the prizes. They gotta use boss's orders. You force them to just pull. And we do have Barbaracle too, but just the 2 Professor Research kind of standard for me. Got the 1 Copycat 2, you know, tech, I draw a lot of cards. Pretty good still. And then we got the 1 Shauna 2, straight shuffle and draw, not straight, but I mean shuffle and draw supporter, 5, best one we got. No gimmicks like with Copycat or Judge. Just you draw 5 until we get better stuff. And then the boss's orders, use this at the right time, win the game. Good stuff. Obviously, I don't have extra Shaunas and Copycats and other shit like Schoolgirl because we got a bunch of Viridas in this deck and Melanie, water-specific supporter cards. So that's the point. But I mean, that's pretty much it. The rest of the cards are just going to be 12 water energies. Enough for manual attachments, enough to discard to get with Melanie, and obviously Palkia, and just enough to go around turn after turn, basically. You don't want to care too much if you got a manual tree to lose a bunch of energies, you're good. Yeah, 12 is good enough. Gets the job done. This is the deck, guys. My own spin on Palkia VSTAR with Barbaracle. Hope you guys look forward to the matches I'm going to show. Once again, you know, don't think this deck is the same deck as it is before. I mean, it's not a coincidence it dropped in popularity. I don't really see many people using this. It's because of the Lightning decks. If we had a good way to get rid of our weakness, or if weakness wasn't ×2, it would have been different. But I do want to mention this as well. Thing is with this guy is that he does a lot of damage, and the Miraidon decks, they fill their bench pretty quickly. So as long as you set him up fast, they get the 1-hit KO on you, fine, you get the 1-hit KO back on them. You know, Raikou only has 200 HP. So it's not a straight auto loss, to be honest. It's just the sad thing that you don't get to utilize this guy's 280 HP, which you would usually tank a hit. So it's not a straight auto loss, but they are going to have the advantage, obviously. So keep that in mind. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, share this video with your friends, and I see you guys on the matches. What a